Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Tonight, our story takes us to ancient Halicarnassus to see the forgotten mausoleum. But first, please come in quickly. The wind outside is so unpleasant, but in here, in the library, it is warm. You are safe now. Let the heavy oaken doors drift shut behind you with a soft click, sealing you away from the noise, from your worries, from the world outside. In here, there is only peace. Listen, the fire is crackling merrily in the hearth, casting long, dancing shadows on the tall shelves. The air is thick with the scent of old parchment and the sweet, heavy smell of melting wax from hundreds of candles. I know why you've come tonight. You are searching for something grand, a story of a wonder. Follow me, deeper, past the history section, and down the aisle dedicated to antiquity. Here, in the very corner, a certain book is waiting for us. Ah, this one. It is not bound in leather, but in something that feels like cool, white marble, smooth and heavy in the hand. There is no title on the cover, just an etching of a tall, fluted column. Let's take it to your favourite chair, close to the fire. Settle in. I'm opening it slowly. Rustle. The pages are thick, and a scent of dust and bygone ages rises from within. The story we will read tonight is a tale of a love so great it built a tomb that reached for the heavens, a tale of the mausoleum. Let us begin. Come, let us drift away, not on the currents of the ocean, but on the currents of time. Let us float back to a night steeped in legend, under a sky that holds a million silent promises. We find ourselves now breathing the air of an ancient land, a place that lives in the soft, blurred edges of history, a city called Halicarnassus. You may know its echo, its modern shadow, the place now called Bodrum, but that is a name for the daylight world, for the sharp, clear light of the sun. Tonight, we are in the world of dreams, in the hushed, sleeping heart of Halicarnassus. The air, do you feel it? It is the first thing you notice. It is a soft, heavy blanket of cool silk, draped over the warm shoulders of the land. It kisses your skin with the gentle, lingering humidity of the Aegean, a coolness that feels earned after the long, patient heat of a Mediterranean day. The sun has long since fallen into the sea, and the land is breathing out a slow, contented sigh, releasing the day's warmth into the vast, dark tapestry of the night. And what a night it is! Look up, just look up. The sky is not merely dark, it is an ocean of deep, profound indigo velvet, so dark it feels you could reach out and touch its plush, soft texture. and scattered across it, oh, the stars. They are not the shy, distant lights of a modern world. They are a spill, a glorious, reckless spill of diamond dust, flung by a careless, joyful hand, the great river of the Seine. Milky Way is a luminous cloud, a shimmering, spectral band of light that pulses with a quiet, ancient energy. The constellations, the bear, the hunter, the queen, they are not mere patterns, they are characters in a silent cosmic play, their stories told in slow celestial fire. They seem so close, so bright. You can almost hear the faint crystalline hum of their light. This starlight, this soft, milky, silver glow, it drifts down, 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 and it touches the world below. It washes over the city, which is nestled like a perfect polished shell in the curve of a deep bay. Halicarnassus is a city of stone, of white, luminous marble, quarried from the patient hills. Under the moon, under the starlight, the city does not sleep in darkness. It glows. It has a soft, pearlescent luminescence, the streets and temples and villas absorbing the celestial light and breathing it back out, a faint, ghostly shimmer. The city itself seems to be dreaming in marble. Let your focus drift. Follow the gentle slope of the city, down to the water, the harbour. This is the city's lungs, its heart, and it is here that the second great sense awakens, the smell. Breathe it in slowly. It is the smell of the Aegean Sea. But that is too simple a word. It is not just salt, though the salt is there, a clean, sharp tingle in the back of your throat. No, this is a richer scent, a more complex perfume. It is the deep, mineral smell of the water itself, ancient and vast. It is the scent of 1,000 distant shores, of crushed shells and wet sand, of seaweed drying on a distant rock. Woven into that salt is the smell of the port itself, the warm, resinous scent of pine timber, the hulls of the sleeping ships, the slightly sour, damp smell of wet ropes, coiled like sleeping serpents on the stone quays. There is the faint, oily ghost of lanolin, of wool, and, underneath it all, the delicate, almost undetectable sweetness of dried fish and amphorae that once held wine or oil, their ceramic pores still whispering of their cargo. This heavy, beautiful perfume, this breath of the sea, it blankets everything, and with it comes the sound. Listen, listen past the whisper. You will hear it, the sound of the harbour at night. It is the soft, rhythmic, gentle shush, slap, shush, slap of the water, liquid darkness, caressing the stone. It is the most peaceful, constant sound in the world. The breathing of the sea, the boats, the small fishing vessels and the larger trading ships. They are asleep at their moorings, and as they sleep, they dream in sound, a slow, resonant creak as a wooden hull shifts against a rope fender, the faint, high, metallic clink, clink of a loose ring on a mast, stirred by a breeze you cannot even feel. The ropes, the thick hemp lines that hold these ships fast, they sigh and stretch in the cool air, singing a low, quiet song of tension and release. The water itself, in the harbour, is a sheet of black polished glass, and it holds the sky. It is a shattered mirror reflecting the starlight. The diamonds above are now diamonds below, trembling, liquid, fragile. A single torch, forgotten perhaps, burns at the end of a long jetty, a tiny pinprick of warm orange fire in a world of cool silver and blue. Its flame dances, and its reflection dances with it, a small, lonely golden serpent in the deep, dark water. Now, let us turn from the sea, let us step onto the land, feel the stone beneath your feet through the soft leather of your sandals, the great smooth flags of the harbour quay. They are cool, cool to the touch, almost damp. They have captured the night's dew. They feel solid, eternal. As we move quietly into the winding, narrow streets of the sleeping city, the sounds of the harbour fade, replaced by a deeper, more profound silence. The shush of the sea becomes a distant murmur, a memory. Now, the only sound is the whisper of your own movement, the soft, powdery scuff of your step on the paved stones, a sound that seems impossibly loud in the quiet. Here, the air changes, the sharp salt of the sea is left behind, and something new takes its place. The smells of the land, the smells of life. You catch the scent of the hills that cup the city, a dry herbal fragrance, the ghost of wild thyme, of rosemary, of sage, all baked by the sun, and now releasing their precious resinous oils into the cool night air. It's the scent of the maquis, the wild, untamed land just beyond the city walls, and woven through that, something sweeter, from a high-walled garden, a place you cannot see, the intoxicating heavy perfume of night-blooming jasmine, unfurling its white petals only for the moon, a sudden, dizzying wave of sweetness that stops you just for a moment and makes you breathe deep. the houses, the villas. They are silent, their white plaster walls still holding the faintest memory of the day's warmth. You can feel it as you pass by, a gentle radiant heat. The windows are dark, shuttered eyes, but wait, from one bakery, its ovens have long since cooled. You can still smell the phantom scent of bread, the faint comforting aroma of yeast, flour and charcoal, a promise of the morning that is still many hours away. A lone dog barks, once, twice, far up in the tiered hills of the city, and the sound is sharp, clear, before it is swallowed again by the enormous, soft, starry silence. This is Halicarnassus, a city of cool stone, a city perched between the dry, fragrant hills and the deep, salty, whispering sea, a city sleeping, dreaming under a vast, watchful, diamond-filled sky. It is a port of sailors and merchants, a port of marble and dreams, and it is here, in this perfect, quiet, breathing night, that a shadow is beginning to form, a place of memory, a testament, a structure that will soon rise to challenge the stars themselves, a tomb that will carry the city's name and the name of its master into eternity. But for now, there is only the night. There is only the cool, jasmine-scented air, the distant sound of the lapping waves, and the deep, hypnotic peace of a world bathed in starlight. A low, resonant hum begins, like a distant thought. Before a tomb, there must be a life. Before the marble, there must be the man. Let us speak his name. Let it dissolve on the tongue. Mausolus. It is a name that would be nothing to us now, just a whisper of dust, a forgotten syllable on the wind, if not for the monumental, breathtaking shadow he would one day cast, a shadow of stone that would stretch across millennia. But who was he? Who was this man? Who would come to define the very concept of a monumental grave? He was not a pharaoh born of the gods. He was not a philosopher. He did not walk the shaded groves of Athens, debating the nature of the soul. He was something else, something more complex, a man of two worlds, a creature of the threshold. Mausolus was a satrap. The word itself feels heavy, rich, exotic. It carries the scent of the East, the smell of spiced heavy wines and ancient sun-baked dust. A satrap, a governor, a prince, a viceroy for the most powerful force the world had yet known, the great, sprawling, seemingly infinite Persian Empire. He was the chosen hand of the great king, Artaxerxes II, a ruler so distant, so powerful, He was almost a myth, a god in his own right, ruling from a throne of gold in Susa or Persepolis. Mausolus was his subject. He was, in title, a servant, but Mausolus did not have the heart of a servant. He was the ruler of Caria, this wild, beautiful, rugged land of steep mountains and deep blue inlets, the very coastline we just walked, the land of Halicarnassus. And in his veins flowed the blood of this place, Carian blood, proud, ancient, and fiercely independent. He was born to this dynasty of local rulers who had learned so cleverly how to wear the mask of Persian loyalty while carving out a kingdom for themselves. He was a paradox. In his chamber you would feel it. You would smell the heavy, resinous perfume of Persian incense, frankincense and myrrh, burning in a golden censer, a scent of devotion to the great king. And yet, on his table, you would see the clean, sharp line of a Greek scroll, a treatise on philosophy, or perhaps the radical, breathtaking new plans for a Greek temple. He spoke the languages of both. His mind was at a crossroads, a bustling port, just like his city. And this man, this Mausolus, he dreamed. Oh, how he dreamed. His was not the simple, brutal ambition of a warlord, the hot, red thirst for battle and burned earth. No, no, his was a different hunger. It was a cool ambition, a patient, calculating, stone-cold desire. It was the ambition of the mind. It was the ambition for legacy. He would stand on the high terrace of his palace, a palace that was fine, but not magnificent, and he would look out over Halicarnassus. He would feel the warm Aegean breeze, the same one we felt, and it would carry on it the sounds of his city, the shouts of sailors in the harbour, the clink of a blacksmith's hammer, the rumble of wooden carts on stone. It was a good port, a useful port, but it was not enough. It was not a beacon. It was not a statement. It was not immortal. And so, in the long, quiet, velvet hours of the night, when the only sound was the distant call of a night bird, or the soft padding of his own slippers on the cool, intricate mosaic floors, he would look east towards his masters in Persia and feel the weight of their ancient, stifling power, a power of gold and tradition and unthinking obedience. And then he would turn. He would turn and look west, across the dark, wine-dark sea, in the direction of his great rival, Athens. Ah, Athens. The name alone was a challenge, a city that had burned bright, a city of ideas, a city that had dared to invent itself. Athens was more than stone. It was philosophy. It was democracy. It was the white, blinding marble of the Parthenon, a building that was not just a temple, but a proclamation, a defiant shout to the world declaring, "We are here, we are perfect." Athens was the cultural sun of the world, and Mausolus lived in its partial shadow. This is what fueled the quiet, burning engine of his soul. He did not want to conquer Athens. He did not want to burn its temples. He wanted to rival it. He wanted to surpass it. He wanted to build. He would take the boundless, staggering wealth of Persia, the river of gold that flowed from the east, and he would wield it. But he would not build a crude Persian monument of mud brick and glazed tile. No, he would steal the fire of the Greeks. He would summon, he would buy the genius of Hellas. He would bring the greatest sculptors, the most brilliant architects, the most visionary artists, and he would set them to work. He would give them a canvas, an entire city, and he would command them, make it perfect. This was the dream of Mausolus, to take his Carian port, his rough, half-barbarian city, and forge it into a new, glittering capital, a capital to dwarf all others. He would move his entire government here. He would build walls so massive they would laugh at any siege. He would build temples, theatres, and a palace for himself, a palace from which he could gaze upon his creation. He dreamed of a city that would blend the colossal, overwhelming scale of Persia with the perfect, human-sized grace and proportion of Greece, a city that was both, a city that was new, a city that would make travellers, when they sailed into his harbour, weep at its beauty, a city that would make Athens seem a little less bright. This was his ambition, not just to rule, but to create, to carve his own name, Mausolus, into the very memory of the earth, to build a capital so glorious, so undeniable, that it would echo long after the empires of both Persia and Athens had crumbled to dust, long after his own heart, his own breathing, his own restless dreaming mind had fallen silent. There is a moment after a great life has ended that is more profound, more terrible than the death itself. It is the moment after. It is the first breath of the one left behind. It is the beginning of the silence. For Artemisia, that silence was a physical thing. It was a cold, heavy presence, a new, unwanted guest in the vast, echoing chambers of the palace that she had shared with her brother, her husband. Mausolus was gone. His restless, ambitious mind, his plans, his presence, all of it extinguished. The city, his city, still hummed with life outside the walls. The harbour still smelled of salt and pine. The stones of the new temples were still warm from the sun, but in her heart, in her rooms, there was a sudden, freezing, unbearable stillness. And it is from this stillness, from this vacuum, that the legend is born. It is a story told, not in the grand histories, but in the corners of the room, in the glances of the servants, in the hushed, awe-struck whispers of the years that followed. They say that after the fires, after the Carian rites had been dutifully, tearfully performed, after the body of the great Satrap had been given to the flames, his last physical form turning to smoke and ash, they brought what remained to her. Imagine a room deep in the palace. The time is night, the only light, a single tall oil lamp, its flame a still, quiet, golden tear, barely moving, casting immense, soft-edged shadows that climb the marble walls like sleeping giants. The air, it does not smell of the sea. It smells of inside, of cool stone, of polished wood, and the faint, ghostly perfume of the funeral spices, sandalwood, myrrh, a sweetness that has become sad. Artemisia is there. She is not weeping. The time for weeping, that hot, stinging release, has passed. Now there is only this coldness. Before her is the urn, not a grand public monument, but a small, simple vessel of dark, polished stone, and beside it a cup, a golden cup, perhaps, or one of dark, gleaming obsidian, cold, heavy, and empty, and the ashes, they are not black, they are not what you imagine, they are fine, delicate, pearly grey powder, like the dust of a crushed moonstone, impossibly light, the very last dry, physical essence of the man who had dreamed of an empire. And they say she took a small silver spoon, and she gathered a measure of this dust. You can hear it, the faint, dry sh, as the dust is lifted. She held it just for a moment, looking at this impossible, final nothing, and then she turned to the cup. It was filled, perhaps with water, cool, clear and still, or perhaps, as some whispers insist, with the dark, rich, unwatered wine of Caria, a wine as dark as a forgotten memory, and she let the ashes fall, a tiny soft sigh as the dust, as he touched the liquid, a small grey cloud swirling, dissolving, until the wine or the water was now a cloudy, grey, spectral draught. She did not hesitate. This was not an act of madness. It was not despair. It was something else. It was an act of union, of possession. It was a ritual, a final, terrible, intimate marriage. She lifted the heavy cup, feel the cold, smooth rim against her lips, the sound her own, slow, measured breathing, and she drank. She drank the dust. She drank the ashes. She drank him. She took the last of his physical self, and she made it hers. She pulled his end inside her own beginning. She took his silence and swallowed it into her own living, breathing heart. When she placed the cup down, the sound was not a sound, it was a finality, a dull, heavy thud on the polished wood. The act was done, and in that moment Artemisia changed. She became a living tomb. Her grief was no longer a thing outside of her, a loss she could look at. It was now inside. It was her. He was not lost. He was interred. Her body, her warm, living, breathing body, was now his sarcophagus. Her blood, her veins, were now the winding, dark passages of his tomb. Her heart, still beating stubbornly, painfully, thump, 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 was his burial chamber, the cold stone vault where he now lay in state. The world outside, the light, the sounds of the city, the smell of the jasmine, it all retreated. It became muffled, distant, unimportant, as if she were hearing it from deep, deep underground. She was now a walking memorial, a monument of flesh and blood, and this living, breathing, walking grave was a torment, because flesh fails, blood cools, hearts stop. This vessel, her vessel, was temporary. It was mortal. And as she sat there in the vast lamplit darkness, with the taste of ash and finality, still a metallic ghost in her throat, a new feeling pushed aside the cold. It was anger. No, not anger. It was defiance. A cold, hard, brilliant defiance. A Carian queen's defiance. A naval commander's defiance. A widow's defiance. This will not be the end. Her living tomb was not enough. Her heart was not enough. His legacy, their legacy, his grand, beautiful, impossible dream of a city, It deserved more than a vessel of weeping flesh. It deserved more than a memory that would die when she died. He deserved a tomb that the world would never forget. A vow was made, not to the gods, not to the stars, a vow made to the cold sleeping ashes now settled within her. I will build it, not I will have it built, but I will build it. This is where the grief found its purpose. This is where the sorrow began to work. Grief. We think of it as a softness, a surrender, a dissolution. We think of weeping, of collapse. We think of the world dissolving into a blur of tears, but there is another grief, a grief that does not dissolve, a grief that hardens, a grief that crystallizes. Artemisia's sorrow was this second kind. It was the grief of a botanist who understands roots and pressure and the slow, inevitable, patient power of growth. It was the grief of a commander who understands strategy and logistics and the relentless, unstoppable application of will. Her sorrow was a weight, yes, a crushing, unimaginable weight, a psychological pressure that felt as if the very marble of the palace was pressing down upon her chest, upon her soul, threatening to grind her into a fine grey dust, just like him. She could not push this weight away. She could not lift it, and so she did the only thing a genius could do. She redirected it. She transformed it. She took this crushing, negative, impossible force, this gravity of loss, and she turned it, she aimed it, she transformed this sorrow into an act of creation. It was an alchemy, a dark, miraculous, emotional alchemy. She would take the pain and make it a plan. She would take the emptiness and make it space. She would take the longing and make it height. She would take the memory and make it marble. This was her new purpose. This was her war against time, her war against oblivion. Every single agonizing, empty day of her widowhood would now have a task. The long, sleepless, silent nights would be filled not with tears, but with drawings, with calculations, with studying the plans, the dreams, that Mausolus himself had started the pain, the hollow, aching, physical pain of his absence. It became her fuel. It was the cold, dark nuclear fire at the center of her being that would drive the most ambitious, the most expensive, the most beautiful construction project the world had ever seen. She was not healing. No, this was not healing. This was building. This was the transmutation of a love so profound it could not die. It could only change shape. It was a grief that was becoming stone. Stone endures. The vow is made, and the will is forged. Artemisia, who has become a living tomb, has turned her profound, aching grief into a silent, unshakable command. But a command, even one from a queen, is just breath. It is just air, a promise made to the silence, a whisper to the ashes she holds within. To make a dream, to make a memory, walk upon the earth, to make it stand against the wind and the rain and the long, slow grinding teeth of time. You need more than a vow. You need hands. You need the masters. And so the summons goes out. Imagine for a moment a fast Carian ship, its single dark red sail pulled taut against the wind, slicing a clean white line through the bright sun-struck waves of the Aegean. This ship carries messengers. It carries Carian gold. And it carries a request that is not a request at all. It is a summons, a call to the very best. They find them, the men who understand, the men who think in stone, the men who do not just build, but who dream in math, in proportion. They are brought to Halicarnassus, to the feet of the grieving queen. Their names have come down to us, whispered through history. Satyros and Pythias, they are the architects. They are the ones who will give bones to the dream. Imagine them in a high, quiet room in the palace, the very same room where Artemisia drank the ashes. But now the air is different. The heavy, lingering scent of grief is still there, a coolness in the shadows, but it is charged with a new and potent energy. It is charged with purpose. The great, long, polished wooden tables have been cleared, and upon them the scrolls are unrolled. Listen, that is the sound of the scrolls, the sound of possibility, the dry, papery, shushing sound as the plans, the first faint, ghost-like sketches of Mausolus's own ambition are laid bare. The parchment is old, and it smells faintly of the river reed from which it was made, and of smoke. And the architects Satyros and Pythias bend over the tables. Their hands, you see, are not the rough, calloused, broken-nailed hands of a quarryman. They are fine. They are clean. They are the hands of men who wield the compass and the ruler, the charcoal stick, the idea. Perhaps Satyros is the master of volume. He is the master of space. He sees the inside of things. He is already walking in his mind through the cool, silent, dark chambers where the air will sleep for eternity. But Pythias, he sees the outside. He sees the line, the form, the perfect mathematical grace of the structure as it rises, as it meets the sky. He is the one who must solve the great riddle of how to make marble, so much marble, look light, how to make a mountain of stone float, how to defy the earth itself. And as they whisper to each other, their voices are a low, technical, excited hum. You can just catch the words, the language of creation. Pteron, stylobate, proportion, entasis. They are translating Artemisia's love into geometry. Her pain is becoming a blueprint. But a building, even a perfect divine building, is just a shape. It is a glorious mathematical shell. It is silent, and Artemisia, she wants her grief to sing. She wants the stone to speak. She wants the marble to weep. She wants the surface of this cold, dead rock to bleed emotion. And for this, you need a different kind of magic. You need the sculptors. This time, the summons is not just a ship. It is a call that rings throughout the Greek world. It echoes in the sun-drenched, marble-dusted academies of Athens. It whispers through the olive groves to the dusty, sun-baked workshops of Paros. It sinks into the souls of the greatest artists alive. And they come. They come not just for the gold, though the Carian gold smells so sweet, and its weight feels so good in the hand. No, they come because they hear the scale of the challenge. They come for the chance to work on a monument that will dwarf the Parthenon, a project so vast, so audacious, it has never been attempted. They are a dream team, a gathering of titans. First, there is Scopas of Paros. He is the master of pathos, the master of pain. When you look at a Scopas statue, you do not admire it. You feel it. His stone lives. It breathes. It aches. He carves not just the muscle, but the anguish in the muscle. He carves the shadow under a tormented eye, the desperate twist of a mouth in fury or despair. He is a fire, a restless, nervous, brilliant fire in the marble, and then Bryaxis, Bryaxis is darker. His genius lives in the shadows. If Scopas is anguish, Bryaxis is intensity, a simmering, almost violent energy. His gods are not the calm, serene, balanced gods of the past. They are fierce, they are brooding. When you look at his work, you can feel the power coiled within the marble, coiled like a serpent, just waiting to strike. And Leochares, Leochares is grace. He is the light. He is the balance. He is the man who carves the divine, the perfect, effortless calm of Apollo, the swift, liquid movement of Hermes, his feet barely touching the earth. His statues do not agonize, they float. They are the marble equivalent of a perfect note of music held suspended in the still air. And finally, Timotheus. Timotheus is the master of texture. He is the master of the detail, of the delicate. To see his work is to believe that marble can be silk. He carves drapery. He carves robes that seem so thin, so light, that a passing breeze, your own breath, could stir them. You feel, you can hear the gentle rustle of the fabric in the silent stone. These 4 men, 4 rivals, 4 geniuses, 4 gods of the chisel. They are all in Halicarnassus now. The air of the city has changed. The port now smells not just of salt and fish and pine tar, it smells of stone. The sharp, clean, mineral tang of freshly quarried marble is everywhere. A fine white dust settles on everything like a constant pale snow. And the sound, the tap, tap, tap of 1,000 attendant chisels has begun. Artemisia, the commander, the stateswoman, she knows these men, she understands them, she knows their pride, she knows their flammable ego. She is brilliant. She does not ask them to collaborate. That would be a disaster. That would be a muddying of genius. No, she unleashes them. She gives them the great podium, the base of the monument, a vast square heart of stone, and she divides it, she assigns it. You, Scopas, she whispers, her voice dry and thin, but hard as iron. You will take the east. The sunrise, the new day, the side of raw emotion. Bryaxis, you will take the north, the cold side, the shadow side, the place for your brooding gods and your fierce battles. Timotheus, you shall have the south, the warm side, the side of the midday sun, where your delicate drapery can catch the light and show its truth. And Leochares, for you, the west, the sunset, the side of graceful endings, the side of divine peace. It is a challenge. It is a contest. It is a friendly war, fought not with bronze but with chisels. And so they begin. Imagine the silence, the profound focus. Each master in his own vast workshop open to the sky. each one knowing that just around the corner, his equal, his greatest rival, is also at this very moment creating a masterpiece. This is philia. This is a rivalry born of love, love for art. The tap, scritch tap is no longer a sound. It is the heartbeat of the city. The work goes on. The stone rises. But the living tomb, the vessel of the vow, Artemisia, her body cannot hold the weight of her grief and the iron strength of her will forever. The ashes she swallowed are a cold anchor, pulling her down, down into the earth that she longs to rejoin. 2 years after Mausolus, just 2 short years after her great project has begun, she dies. The tapping stops. A horrible, sudden quiet falls over Halicarnassus. The silence is louder than the chisels ever were. The patron is gone. The queen is dead. The grief that fueled the entire project has burned itself out. The money stops. The vow is broken. The dream is orphaned. We are told what happens next. A whisper comes to us from the future. A Roman historian named Pliny. He tells us the story. The 4 masters. Scopas, Bryaxis, Leocharis, Timotheus. They meet. Imagine them standing together for once, standing in the shadow of their own half-finished colossus. The white, unpolished marble gleams under the Carian sun, a stark white skeleton, a monument to an abandoned dream. The air smells of dust and sea and cold stone and uncertainty. They do not speak of money. They do not speak of the dead queen. They just look up. They look at the stone. They look at their work. They look at the friezes, the gods, the battle, the life that is bursting from the rock. And a realization settles upon them. A shared, silent understanding passes between these 4 rivals. They realize that this is no longer for Mausolus. This is no longer for Artemisia. This magnificent thing is theirs. This is for itself. It is for art. It is for their own names. It is for their own glory. It is their own bid for immortality. They have started a masterpiece, and they will finish it. A new vow is made, not a vow spoken in a darkened room and born of grief, but a harder vow, a vow sworn in the broad daylight between equals, a vow born of pride. And the next morning, as the first pale grey light of the dawn touches the high white marble, the work resumes. It will not stop again until it is done. Before the masterpiece there is the material. Before the chisel can sing its high, clear song, the stone must be won. It must be taken. Let us go to where the dream begins. Not in the artist's mind, not in the queen's heart, but deep in the earth. We are far from Halicarnassus now. The air is different. The soft, salty, humid blanket of the Aegean is gone. Here the air is thin. It is cold. It is the sharp, clean, biting air of the high mountains. We are at the Quarry. Let us imagine it at midnight. The moon is full, and it shines on a wound, a great white gash in the side of the dark mountain. This is the Quarry of Pentelicus, or perhaps a sister quarry deep in Anatolia. It is a ghostly place. The moonlight, it drinks the darkness, and it pours itself onto the stone. The raw marble gleams. It gleams a skeletal, luminous white. A cold light. It is not silent. This is not the fast tap, tap, tap of the sculptor's studio. This is a slower, deeper, heavier work. It is the sound of brute force applied with patient skill. Listen, you can hear the hiss of the torches. They are few, casting long, dancing, terrifying shadows. The torchlight catches the sweat on the backs of the quarrymen. It glints on the metal of their tools. And the smell. Oh, the smell. It is sharp. It is the cleanest, coldest smell in the world. It is the smell of fractured stone, a bright mineral tang that stings the nostril. It is the smell of dust, a dry, thirsty powder that clogs the air, that coats your tongue. And under that is the acrid scent of hot metal as a wedge is struck, and the oily smell of the torch's smoke. Now, the sound. Hear the shriek. A high metal on stone scream as long iron wedges are pounded deep into a line, a seam that has been studied, chosen. Thud. It is a terrible, violent sound. It is the sound of iron biting marble, and then the foreman shouts, a low, guttural command. The pounding stops, and only silence, a heavy, expectant, cold silence. The mountain is holding its breath, and then it is the stone itself. It is complaining. It is protesting. A long, groaning, tearing sound. A sound of roots ripping deep in the earth. It is followed by a crack. A sound like thunder, but drier, sharper. A sound that hits your chest. And then the rumble. The low, shaking, grinding, deafening roar as a wall of white rock as big as a temple tears free and falls, thundering down, sliding, crashing, booming, settling into white ruin, shrouded in a cloud of white dust that chokes the moonlight. This is the birth of the blocks. This ruin is tamed. It is cut, squared, measured, and now a single block, a colossus, begins its journey. It is levered, rolled, sworn at, onto a cart. But this is no ordinary cart. It is a monster of wood. A great sled or wagon with solid wooden wheels thick as a man, and it is pulled. Listen, you can hear the groan of the axles, a high, screaming wooden shriek that never stops. It sets your teeth on edge. and the oxen, dozens of them, great pale beasts yoked together, straining, pulling. You can hear their breath, a huffing, snorting, steaming sound. The air is cold and every breath is a cloud of white. You can smell them, the hot, grassy animal smell of them, the smell of their sweat and the sharp tang of their leather harnesses and the grease. To stop the axles from bursting into flame, they are slathered in thick black tar and fat. The pungent, smoky, acrid smell of it is overpowering. The thud, thud, thud of their hooves on the rocky path, the snap of the driver's whip, a sudden crack in the air, and always, always the shrieking groan of the wheels. It is agony. It is slow. It moves slower than a man walks. This is the journey down from the mountain. It reaches the sea. The block is loaded onto a ship. A broad, low, heavy transport barge. A ship that looks half sunk already. And the sound changes. The groan of the wood is still there, but now it is the creak and protest of the ship's timbers complaining against the sea, and underneath it a new sound. The soft, constant, liquid shush, slap, shush, slap of the waves against the hull. The smell changes. The dust and tar are washed away by the clean, sharp smell of salt. The mineral smell of the marble mixes with the wet, woody smell of the deck, and the ancient, fishy smell of the harbour, and the feel. The jarring, lurching, thudding stops, and it is replaced by movement, a gentle, rhythmic, constant rocking, a slow roll and pitch. The stone is floating, the mountain is flying across the sea, and it arrives in Halicarnassus. But we are not going to the workshops yet. We are not going up. We are going down. We follow the architects, Satyros and Pythias, to the chosen spot, the hill overlooking the city, overlooking the harbour. And here they are not building, they are digging. It is not a quarry, it is a pit, a vast, precise, rectangular wound cut into the living earth. It is an inverted pyramid, a shadow tomb waiting to be filled. The smell here is different again. It is not dust, it is earth. It is the damp, loamy, cellar-cool smell of rich soil, the green, sharp scent of cut roots, the cold mineral smell of clay and wet rock, and under it all, the metallic tang of human sweat. The sounds are muffled. They come from below. The heavy thud, thud, thud of picks biting into the hard-packed earth. The scrape and skitter of shovels on stone. The rumble of woven baskets full of dirt being hauled up, hand over hand. The soft patter as they are emptied. And listen. A low hum. It is the chant of the work gangs, a rhythmic song, a call and response, a deep, resonant drone that rises from the pit. It is the music of labour, the sound to keep the pace. You stand at the edge, you feel the cool air rising from the excavation. This is the foundation, this emptiness, this hole. This is the grip. This is the anchor that will hold the dream to the world. This is the silence that will support the song. It is scraped clean down to the bedrock. It is ready. It is waiting to accept the first cold, white, heavy stone from the mountain. The sun climbs over the ridge of the Carian hills, and its first pale golden light touches the high ground. It illuminates the great white rising footprint of the foundation, and something new. It illuminates the vast, sprawling campus of workshops, of sheds, of open-air lean-tos that have sprung up around the site, a bustling, dusty city dedicated to a single purpose. And as the city below begins to stir, as the first faint, comforting scent of wood smoke from breakfast fires drifts up from the harbour, a new sound begins. It is not a single, sharp tap. It is a chorus. It is the sound of 1,000 chisels. Imagine that sound. It is not a loud, percussive, brutal banging. It is a hiss. It is a shush. It is a high, crystalline, constant shimmering, like a field of cicadas made of metal, like a fine, sharp rain, a rain of iron points striking the marble. It is the collective, focused breath of hundreds of men, artisans, craftsmen, and apprentices, all focused, all translating the lines on a parchment into the reality of stone. This is the daily life of the workshop. They live inside this cloud of sound, this high-pitched, energetic song, from the first cool grey light of dawn until the last warm orange light of dusk. They drink water from clay jugs, and the water tastes faintly of dust. They eat bread that grits almost imperceptibly between their teeth. Their skin, their hair, their eyelashes are permanently white. They are ghosts of marble dust. This dust is everything. It is the air. You breathe it. It is not like the soft brown dust of a dry road. No, this is sharp. It has a clean, cold, mineral smell. A taste like chalk and flint. It clogs your throat, it dries your nose, it stings your eyes. It is the ghost of the mountain, and it refuses to leave the air. It settles on everything, a fine white powder that dulls the world. And woven through that cold smell is another scent, a warmer one, a living one. It is the smell of wood. It is the smell of scaffolding. Great forests of pine and cedar have been cut to build the ladders and platforms and ramps that crawl up the rising walls. and in the heat of the Carian sun, this new wood bakes. It releases its perfume, the sharp, resinous tang of pine sap oozing like sticky amber beads, the dry, spicy scent of cedar sawdust. It is the smell of life and growth mixed with the cold smell of stone, and to be on that scaffolding, feel it. The wood is rough under your hands, new and splintery. You are high up now. The wind from the sea finds you here. It is cool and fresh, carrying that faint hint of salt. It whips your tunic and it tries to steal the dust from your hair. Below you, the world of men seems small. The harbour is a distant blue crescent. And what are they carving up here in the wind? They are carving chaos. They are carving war. 3 great stories, 3 friezes, are designed to wrap around the podium. The first is the Battle of the Centaurs. The mythical Lapiths against the half-men, half-beasts. And Scopas and his rivals make you feel it. This is not a polite ballet. It is flesh and panic and rage. You can see the stone muscles bunch and strain so hard you expect them to tear. You can see the horse bodies rear up, their hooves slashing, their flanks glistening as if with sweat. You can see the agony carved deep around a stone eye, the mouth open in a silent scream. And then the Amazon Marquis, the greatest frieze, the Greeks against the warrior women of the East. And this is where life truly begins. This is motion locked in time. The stone forgets that it is stone. It pretends. It pretends to be cloth. Look closely. Look at this drapery. It is not a thick, heavy blanket of rock. It is a tunic pulled tight against a thigh as a warrior lunges. You can see the shape of the body beneath the fabric. It clings as if damp with exertion. The folds are so deep, so thin, so delicate, you cannot believe a hammer and chisel were so brutal. It must have been carved with a brush or with water. You can see hair that flows like liquid marble escaping a helmet. You can see the twist of a torso, a moment of impossible torque and balance as an axe is swung. The air around them seems to move. The sculptors have not carved a battle. They have carved the wind of the battle. But now we must see the truth. We must cast aside our modern eyes, which are so used to the pale ghosts of museums. These statues, this tomb, this masterpiece was not white. It was never meant to be white. The pure, white, gleaming marble was just the canvas. Now come the painters. They follow behind the sculptors. And with them come new smells. The sharp, almost sour vinegar tang of egg yolk being whisked in a clay bowl to make tempera. The earthy, grassy smell of minerals and clays being ground into a fine powder. Ochre for deep yellows and fiery reds. Malachite for a brilliant, vibrant green. Ground lapis or azurite for a blue so deep, so expensive it hurts to look at. and over it all the sweet, warm, comforting scent of beeswax being gently melted over a low charcoal brazier to polish and seal the colours in, to make the stone glow. And the colours, imagine it. The skin of the Greek warriors is not stone, it is painted a warm, living bronze. The hair of the Amazons is a rich chestnut red. The drapery we admired is now a riot of saffron yellow and deep crimson, with intricate patterns painted on the hems. The eyes are not blank, they are painted. They are alive, they stare back at you. The lips are red, the leather straps of a sandal are dark brown. Gold leaf is carefully applied to the hilt of a stone sword or the clasp of a brooch, and it flashes impossibly bright in the Carian sun. This is not a ghostly white dream. It is a vibrant, loud, living thing. It is life shouting from the walls. It is a story told not in hushed whispers, but in a full-throated song of colour and fury. This is what they built. The work ascends, the chaos of the workshops, the cloud of white dust, the sharp smell of pine scaffolding. It all falls away beneath our feet. We are climbing. We are rising with the monument itself. We step from the earth, from the mud and the noise, and we find ourselves on the first level. This is the podium. It is a stage, a vast man-made plateau, a sheer cliff of solid marble raising the entire world of the tomb high above the city, high above the living. To stand upon it, feel it beneath your feet. It is enormous, a great plaza of stone, so wide you feel small upon it. The marble here is baked by the uninterrupted sun. It radiates a clean, dry heat that you can feel through the soles of your sandals. The air has changed. We are higher now. The wind that finds us here is cleaner. It has left the dust behind. It is purer, saltier, and cooler. It snaps at your tunic. It whispers in your ears, a constant rushing sound of emptiness and height. The city below is suddenly distant. The shouts from the harbour are faint like memories. The sound of the workshop is a dull hiss far below. Up here, on this imposing platform, the dominant sound is the wind, and the dominant smell is hot stone and open sky. This is the foundation of heaven. And now, from this vast stage, the second act begins. They rise. This is the pteron, the wing, the part that will make the stone fly. This is the forest. 36 great columns ascend from the podium floor. 36 pillars of gleaming white marble. This is the genius of the Greeks. It is not a wall. A wall is a barrier. A wall is brutal. A wall is Persian. This is air. This is light. This is rhythm. They are ionic columns. They are slender, more graceful than their Doric brothers. They are fluted with deep vertical grooves that catch the light and create a dizzying pattern of bright white and sharp blue shadow, and at the top of each one is the volute, the scroll, a beautiful spiral of stone that curls in on itself like a ram's horn, or the petrified spiral of a seashell, or a curl of Artemisia's hair, to walk among them. Let us walk through this forest. The wind changes. It no longer rushes past you. It moves through the spaces between the columns, and as it moves, it sings, it hums, it catches on the sharp edges of the fluting and creates a low organ note, a constant Aeolian music. The tomb is learning to speak. The light here is no longer the hard glare of the podium. It is dappled, it is broken, it is a cool, moving pattern of light and shadow that dances on the floor. You reach out your hand, you touch one, feel it. The marble is impossibly smooth, but not flat. Your fingers trace the rise and fall of the fluting. It is cool, cool to the touch, even in the afternoon. It feels alive. This forest of 36 columns holds up the sky. It is a screen of grace, hiding the heart of the tomb. But this forest is not empty. It is inhabited. In the spaces between the columns, in the cool shadows they stand. They are the guardians, statues, hundreds of them. As you walk through this maze of light and wind, you are never alone. Gods and goddesses stand there, larger than life, painted in those rich colours. Their stone eyes look past you, out to sea, or in towards the centre. They are calm, they are serene, they are eternal. Their presence is a heavy calm, and with them are the lions, great marble lions, the symbol of royalty, the symbol of Caria. They are not calm, they are tense, they are crouching or standing guard. Their stone muscles are bunched, their painted mouths are half open in a silent snarl. You can smell the faint waxy scent of their painted hides. You can feel their power. This level is a sacred grove, a populated wilderness of stone. The columns are the trees, the gods are the spirits of the place, and the lions are the protectors. They are all facing outward. They are guarding something. They are guarding the solid marble wall at the center of the forest. The cellar, the true tomb, the room that no one will ever enter again. You walk through the forest of columns and you feel like an intruder. You are being watched by gods and beasts, and the wind never stops singing its low, hypnotic song. We have walked the sacred forest of the columns, feeling the cool, musical wind move between them. We have felt the silent, eternal gaze of the gods and the lions in the shadows, and now we look up, and what we see should not be possible. It is a miracle of geometry and will, a final, brilliant refutation of gravity. It is the roof, but it is not a roof. It is not a solid, oppressive triangle of stone designed to crush the memory of the man below. This is a staircase. It is a pyramid, yes, but it is a pyramid of steps. 24 massive, shallow marble steps, each one a perfect, precise ring, rising one upon the other, tapering, narrowing, pulling the eye and the soul upward. This is the marvel of Pythias, the architect who dreamed in mathematics. He has taken a mountain of solid marble, the weight of a citadel, and he has hidden its weight. He has carved it with air and shadow, creating a ladder of impossible lightness. As you stand at its base, you can feel the genius of it. The wind which hummed in the columns below now sings a new song. It is a high, clean, whistling sound as it races over the sharp, perfect, horizontal edges of the 24 steps. It sounds like the high, thin music of the stars. The stone itself, this high up, is different. It is scoured clean by the constant breeze. It has no dust. It smells only of itself, a cold mineral perfume, the scent of the sky. This is the central secret of the mausoleum. This is the thought that Artemisia held in her heart as she drank the ashes. This was never a tomb for the ground. A tomb is a hole. It is a place of endings, of damp earth, and of forgetting. This is an instrument. It is a machine designed for ascent. It is a stairway to the heavens. Each of those 24 steps is a station on a final celestial journey. It is a bridge built of grief and marble to carry the soul of the satrap from the world of the living, from the port of Halicarnassus, and to lift it, to place it among the gods and the heroes and the eternal, silent stars. It is a denial of death. It is an act of supreme architectural defiance. It does not say, "Here lies a man." It says, "From here a man departed." Imagine the souls of Mausolus and Artemisia finally reunited, beginning that climb, their spectral feet touching the cold moon-white marble. The wind, the same wind we hear, rushes to meet them, to lift them, pulling them up, past the first step, the 10th, the 20th, until the earth is just a memory below, and the sky is everything. This is not a monument to sorrow. It is a monument to transition. And now, let us climb. Let us take that final journey ourselves. We move past the columns, and we begin the ascent up the great stairway of the sky. The wind grows stronger with each step, no longer a song, but a powerful rushing river of air. It pulls at your tunic. It shouts in your ears. It is cold, and it smells of nothing but salt and the deep, clean emptiness of the night. We reach the top, the final 24th step. It is a small, flat platform, the apex of the world, and from here we look down. Below us is Halicarnassus. It is no longer a city, it is a pattern, a carpet of tiny lights, thousands of small, flickering golden oil lamps and household torches twinkling like a fallen constellation. You can trace the winding streets as rivers of dim light. You see the harbour itself, a few brighter lanterns on the masts of sleeping ships, rocking gently, gently on a water they cannot see, and the sea, the great, dark, silent sea. From this height it makes no sound. The hiss of the surf is lost. It is a void, a boundless expanse of black velvet or polished obsidian. It does not move. It simply is, a perfect dark mirror that holds no reflections. The only sound is the deep, rushing roar of the open sky. You look down at the lights of the city, and then you look up, and the stars are so close. The diamonds we saw from the shore are now fires. They are braziers. They seem just beyond your fingertips. You are no longer on the earth. You are halfway to heaven. You are standing at the meeting point of the human world and the divine, on the very last step of the stairway to the sky. We are standing at the apex, on the final 24th step of the great marble staircase. The wind is loud here. It is the only sound, a deep, clean roar, the sound of the open, empty sky. The lights of Halicarnassus are a silent, sleeping field of embers, so far, so very far below. And here on this final, narrow platform rests the crown, the culmination, the final word of the entire dream. It is the quadriga, a chariot pulled by 4 massive horses. They are colossal, each one carved from a single block of that perfect white marble, the same stone that sleeps in the mountain. They are not racing. They aren't rearing in panic or battle. No, they stand. They stand in perfect calm and power. Their heads are up. Their stone nostrils are flared as if tasting this high, celestial air. Their muscles are not strained, but gathered, full of potential energy. They are horses, fit for gods. Their marble manes are carved so deeply that the wind seems to truly flow through them. And they are not just white, they are harnessed in bronze that has been gilded. Even in the pale starlight, this gold gleams a faint, dull yellow. These are not horses of the earth, they are horses of the sun. They are waiting to pull their precious cargo on its final journey. And who do they pull? Look. In the chariot itself, a masterpiece of carved and painted stone, they stand, Mausolus and Artemisia. They are reunited. This is the vow fulfilled. This is the ash and the wine made eternal. He is no longer just a satrap. He is not a corpse. He is carved as a hero, as a god. He is divine. His body is perfect. His gaze is calm and looking forward. He is the charioteer of his own soul. And beside him, at last, at peace, her grief transformed into this entire mountain of beauty, is Artemisia. She is no longer a weeping widow. She is not the commander or the botanist. She is his equal, a goddess in her own right. Her stone drapery is caught by the same celestial wind. Her hand perhaps rests on his arm. They stand together forever. They are not ascending. They are not racing. They are riding in a slow, eternal procession across the roof of the world. They are travelers who have arrived at their destination, a place between the world of men and the home of the stars. Feel the marble of their faces. It is impossibly smooth and cold under the night sky. The paint on their robes is rich and dark, a deep crimson and royal purple, and the gold leaf on their crowns and jewels waits patiently in the darkness. It is waiting for dawn, and the dawn comes. It is the darkest hour. The last stars are burning with a cold blue fire. The sea is a void of black ink. The city of Halicarnassus is draped in a cool blue blanket of sleep. Not a light move, but look to the east, over the dark, jagged teeth of the Anatolian mountains, far away. A change. It is not light, it is a lessening of the dark. The black sky softens to a deep, bruised indigo. The stars begin to fade one by one like dying embers. A line of pale, pearly grey appears, and then, beneath it, a faint, sickly green, and then a timid streak of rose or apricot. The world is still asleep. The air is cold, and then a single ray, the first beam of the new sun. It shoots across the sleeping world. It has not touched the sea. It has not touched the city. It travels over the darkness, and it strikes the highest point in the world. It strikes the quadriga. It hits the gilded bronze harness. It hits the golden crown of Mausolus, and the monument ignites. It explodes into light, a blinding flash of golden fire, a beacon, a second sun, a star of gold and white marble burning 140 feet in the sky, while the world below is still bathed in shadow. Imagine you are a fisherman on the dark sea, pulling in your nets in the cold pre-dawn chill. You look back at the sleeping coastline, and you see it. You see a god light a torch in the sky. You see the sun arrive long before dawn. The light catches the gleaming white flanks of the horses, making them seem to move. It catches the painted eyes of Artemisia, and for a moment she is alive, and then, slowly, oh so slowly, as the real sun climbs, The light begins to creep down. It spills over the edge of the platform. It touches the highest step of the pyramid, then the next, and the next. A cascade of liquid gold pouring down the great stairway. It reaches the forest of columns, illuminating the Ionic scrolls one by one. It pours over the edge of the great podium, and finally, it touches the roofs of the sleeping city. The monument did not just greet the dawn, it captured it, it held it, and then it delivered it like a gift from the gods to the city below. A low, resonant hum begins, like a cello note held for a very long time. It is the sound of completion, of silence after a great effort. And so it is finished. The work is done. The last painter has cleaned his brush. The last scaffold, that great forest of fragrant pine, has been dismantled, leaving no trace, no scent of resin on the air. The last chip of marble has been swept away. The chorus of 1,000 chisels, that high, shimmering hiss that was the city's heartbeat for so long, has stopped, and the silence that falls in its place is deafening. It is a profound, deep, heavy quiet, a quiet of completion, a quiet of awe. All that is left is the sound of the wind, singing its low, ancient song through the 36 columns, and the sound of the distant sea breathing far below. The monument stands, perfect, complete, a mountain of white and gold and crimson, blazing under the Carian sun. And they come. First they come from the islands nearby. Small boats, their sails lowered as they drift into the harbour, the sailors staring up, their mouths open, their work-rough hands still on the ropes. Then they come from farther away, from Athens, from Egypt, from the far coasts of Italy. They come in ships laden with wine or grain or wealthy passengers whose only cargo is curiosity. They are pilgrims, not pilgrims to a god, but pilgrims to a feeling, to a wonder. Imagine them stepping onto the hot, dusty quay of the harbour. They can smell the salt, the fish, the sharp tang of the city, but they do not look at the city. They look up. Their journey is a silent one. They begin the climb up the winding stone path that leads to the great hill. The sounds of the city, the shouting of merchants, the clang of a blacksmith, all of it fades behind them. The air becomes cleaner, and the only sound is the soft scuff, scuff, scuff of 100 sandals on the packed earth, and the growing, humming song of the wind from the columns above. They can smell the wild thyme and the dry, hot herbs crushed under their feet, and then they arrive. They step onto the great, broad terrace, and they stop. The breath just stops in their chests. They stand dwarfed, small, humble before this thing. It is too big, it is too white, it is too perfect. Their eyes do not know where to look. Do they look at the podium, at the furious, vibrant, coloured life of the Amazon battle, the horses seeming to leap from the stone? Do they look up, past the forest of columns, to the impossible, breathtaking staircase of the sky? Do they look to the very top, to the chariot, that flash of gold, so high it seems to be in another world? They whisper in Greek, in Latin, in languages long since turned to dust, but the word is the same. Thorma, a wonder. They walk slowly around its base. They reach out a trembling hand. They touch it. They feel the cool, impossible smoothness of the marble. They feel the heat of the sun radiating from it. They feel the history, the love, the grief, the pride that has been hardened into stone. They came to see a tomb, and they found a gateway to heaven, and the tomb stands. The first pilgrims grow old and die. Their children tell stories of the great wonder, and their children's children. The monument stands. It becomes a sentinel, a silent, white, unmoving guardian, watching the world from its high hill. It watches the long, slow breathing of time. It feels the sun. It feels 600,000 sunrises. It feels the first pure golden ray ignite its crown every single morning, a daily act of ritual fire. It feels the long, slow, patient baking of the afternoon sun, a heat that sinks deep into its bones. It feels the rain. It feels the winter storms drive in from the sea, the cold, stinging drops lashing against the painted faces of the Amazons. It hears the water rushing down the 24 steps of its roof like a temporary waterfall. The smell of wet stone and damp earth rises from below, and the paint, that vibrant life, it begins to fade, not in a year, not in a decade, but over centuries. The crimson softens to rose, the bronze skin pales, the gold dulls, the sentinel slowly turns back into a ghost of white. It stands, it watches the Greeks fade, it watches the dream of Athens cool, it watches new ships arrive, harder ships, war galleys. It hears a new sound, the sound of marching, the heavy thud of hobnailed sandals on stone, the sharp, barking commands in Latin. The Roman eagle has landed, and the sentinel watches. It watches Rome rise like a new sun. It watches Roman governors come and stand where the Greek pilgrims stood and feel the same awe. It watches the Roman Empire itself crack and fall apart. It watches new faiths sweep across the land. The city below changes its name, its gods, its language, over and over again, and the mausoleum does not care. It stands for 1800 years, a silent fact, its stone face turned to dawn. Its marble heart holds the memory of a love and a grief that had long outlived every empire that had come to marvel at it. One of those Romans came. He was not a poet or a dreamer. He was a man of facts, a collector of the world. His name was Pliny the Elder. Imagine him, a practical man, frowning in the bright sun. He arrives not with an offering, but with a tablet, a wooden tablet filled with dark wax. You can smell it, the faint honey scent of the beeswax warming in the heat. He stands before the monument, and even this man of facts is silenced. He walks the perimeter. He counts the columns. 36. He paces out the dimensions. He cranes his neck and measures the height with his eye. And then he writes. You can hear it. The faint dry scrape and scratch of his bronze stylus as it cuts letters into the soft wax. He is not writing poetry. He is writing a report. He tries to be clinical. He notes the names. Scopas took the east, Bryaxis the north. He tells the story of their pride, how they finished it for their own glory. And then his practical words fail him. He looks up at the whole impossible thing, the gleaming staircase to the sky, the fury of the carved battles, and he scratches a new word. He writes that it is one of the 7 wonders of the world. His wax tablet becomes a scroll. The scroll is copied and copied. It travels farther than any pilgrim. It is read by scholars in rainy Britain. It is read by senators in the cool marble libraries of Rome. It is read in dusty Alexandria. And now the mausoleum is no longer just a building of stone in Caria. It is an idea. It has planted itself in the world's imagination. Even for those who will never see it, who will never smell the Aegean wind or feel the Carian sun, the word mausoleum now means something. It means wonder. It means love made permanent. It means a grief so profound it could build a stairway to the stars. The stone sentinel stands silent on its hill, but its whisper is now echoing across the entire world. The sentinel has stood for 1800 years. It has watched the Roman Empire drown in its own shadow. It has felt the sandals of Byzantine monks and the boots of crusaders. It has seen new ships with new sails speak new languages in the harbour far below. The paint is long gone. The gold is a memory. It is now a ghost, a colossal skeleton of grey-white marble. Its edges softened by nearly 2,000 winters. It is no longer a wonder. It is a fact, a feature of the landscape, as permanent as the mountain behind it, until the 15th century. Imagine a night A still Turkish night in the city, now called Bodrum. The air is cool and smells of time and the unchanging sea. A dog barks. A muezzin's call has long since faded into silence. The moon washes the old tomb in its pale, familiar light. And then it begins. Not a sound, a feeling, a low vibration that comes not through the air, but through the earth. It comes up through the soles of your feet, a deep, sickening lurch, a shudder from the very bedrock of the world. The dog stops barking, it whines, and then the sound, a low groan, a deep, grinding, tearing roar that seems to come from everywhere at once. It is the sound of the earth's bones breaking. The ground is no longer stone. It is a liquid. It is a wave. The city cries out. But on the hill, the sentinel is shaken. It has felt wind. It has felt rain. It has never felt this. The very foundation that was dug so deep is now being lifted and dropped, and the monument begins to die. We hear it, a new sound, a high shriek, the shriek of marble grinding against marble. The 36 columns that sang in the wind now groan as they are twisted. The podium cracks, and one by one the columns fail. A sound like thunder, a sharp report as a pillar snaps, and then another, and another, a domino fall of giants. The forest is felled in an instant. The stairway to the sky, that perfect pyramid of 24 steps, it shudders. It holds for a heartbeat, suspended in horror, and then it collapses in on itself, a cascade, a deafening avalanche of stone, a booming, crashing waterfall of marble, plunging down into the ruined heart of the tomb, the chariot at the top, the eternal ride of Mausolus and Artemisia. It lurches forward. The horses plunge down, down, down into the darkness they were meant to escape. And then a new silence. A silence so profound it hurts. A silence filled with a choking cloud of white dust. The powdered stone of 1800 years hangs in the moonlight like a shroud. The sentinel is gone. The next morning, the sun rises, and for the first time in 18 centuries, it does not strike a golden chariot. It rises over a broken tooth, a jagged pile of rubble. Let us walk through the ruin. It is magnificent even in its death. The great podium is cracked and heaved, but it mostly stands, a defiant broken stage. But the forest is gone. It is a graveyard of giants, a tangle of shattered column drums, fluted marble bones lying in a jumble like a child's scattered blocks. The stairway to the sky is a rubble slide, a river of rock that has choked the inner chamber. And the statues, the fallen gods, they are scattered like autumn leaves. Here, the head of a lion, its marble snarl silenced forever in a clump of crushed time. You can smell the herb releasing its scent. There, a perfectly carved hand reaching from the dirt. There, the face of an Amazon. She has been flung clear. She lies on her back, staring up at the sky, her painted eyes now blank. When it rains, the water will pool in her stone eye like a tear. The chariot is buried, the great horses are shattered. We see only a fragment of a wheel, a broken marble leg. Mausolus and Artemisia, their eternal ride is over. They are lost, buried deep inside their own broken dream. The smell is no longer of clean marble dust. It is the smell of damp, fractured stone, the raw, cold scent of the earth itself exposed to the air. Time passes, not years, decades, then centuries. The world forgets. The pilgrims stop coming. The name Mausolus is just a whisper in a Roman's forgotten book. The city of Bodrum grows and lives its own life, and nature returns. The ruin is claimed. Ivy begins to crawl. Thick, tough green ivy spreads over the broken friezes as new shroud. Its tiny tendrils probe the cracks in the marble. Wild fig trees take root in the rubble. Their strong young roots wrap around a god's arm and slowly, patiently push the great stones apart, doing what the earthquake could not finish. The smell changes. It is now the smell of damp loam, of decaying leaves, of wild flowers pushing up between the cracks. The air is thick with the buzzing of insects and the chirp of crickets. Goats climb the rubble, their hard hooves clicking on the face of a hero. The monument is no longer a building. It is a hill. A strange green overgrown mound littered with broken white rocks, and the locals. They are building new houses. They are building new walls, and they need stone. A new sound returns to the hill. Clink, clank, clink. It is the sound of a chisel, the sound of a hammer. But this is not creation. It is a harvest. The hill has become a quarry. A man with a cart comes. He does not see the agony of Scopas. He sees a good square block. He puts his crowbar into the perfectly joined seam and he breaks it. He breaks the frieze of the Amazons to get a lintel for his door. He takes the marble of the podium to build a goat pen. The wonder of the world is forgotten. It is being unmade. It is being slowly consumed by the earth and by the small needs of men. The great love of Artemisia is now just rubble, a convenient pile of rocks on a forgotten hill. The long silence is complete. It is the silence of total oblivion. The hill is forgotten. The ruin sleeps under its green blanket of ivy and wild fig. The only sounds are the clicking hooves of goats and the high, dry hiss of the cicadas in the summer heat. The air smells of time and damp earth and oblivion. Then a new sound. It is not the clink of a local farmer's hammer. It is louder. It is the clank of metal on metal. It is the heavy, purposeful thud of marching boots. It is the sharp, barking commands in a foreign tongue. They have come from across the sea, the Knights of St. John. These are not pilgrims. They have no awe. They are not dreamers. They are pragmatic. They are soldiers of the cross in a hostile land, and they are afraid. They look east and they see the rising, terrifying power of the Ottoman Turks. They do not see a poem, they see a threat. They arrive on the shore of Bodrum, and their minds are not on history. Their minds are on defense. They need a fortress. They need walls. And they look up at the overgrown, forgotten hill. They do not see a tomb. They do not see a wonder. They see a resource, a pre-built, perfectly positioned quarry, filled with magnificent cut, squared stones, just waiting to be harvested. The local nibbling now becomes a feast. The knights are systematic. They are engineers. They bring tools, winches, and hundreds of men. The sound of destruction is organized. It is the groan of great levers, the shout of a foreman, the slow, painful scrape of ancient marble being dragged down the hill. They are unbuilding time. We would know nothing. It would all be dust. But one of them wrote, a man named La Tourette, a knight, a soldier, but a man who kept a diary. Imagine him in his tent at night. The camp is loud with the sounds of soldiers drinking and talking. The air smells of sweat and cheap wine and the oily tang of chainmail being cleaned. But in his small circle of light, from a sputtering tallow candle that smells of hot animal fat, there is only the sound of his quill, a faint, dry scratching on the rough parchment. He is not a poet. He is just recording the day's events, and one day he records a marvel. His diary tells us of the moment, the workmen digging deep into the podium following a passage, their shouts suddenly muffled. They have broken through a hole, a void, a darkness. A rush of air comes out, and the smell, oh, the smell. It is air that has not been breathed for 1700 years. It is as cold as a winter night. It smells of ancient still dust, and underneath it something else, a faint, sharp, metallic tang, the ghost of gold, the perfume of treasure. They lower a torch, the light falls into the dark, and the darkness explodes. The flame is reflected 1,000 times. It flashes on gold, it glints on piles of jewels. It illuminates a room lined with marble panels, and in the centre, a great square sarcophagus, so beautiful, so perfect. They are at the heart. They have found it. The silent room that Artemisia sealed in her grief. The men are stunned. They are terrified. This is pagan magic. It is a treasure. It is getting dark. They make a decision. They will wait. They will wait for morning. They cover the hole with stones. They go back to their supper. And that night, a new sound, a single high brazen note cuts through the darkness. A trumpet, a warning, a scout on the hill, a ship, a Turkish sail spotted in the moonlight. The camp explodes, not with awe, with panic. The clatter of armour being thrown on, the shouting of men, the thud of boots on hard earth. La Tourette forgets the tomb. He is a soldier. He runs with his men to the shore. Their minds are filled with battle, and while they are gone, while the entire camp is in chaos, staring out to sea, others come. They carry no diaries. They feel no awe. Perhaps pirates from the shore. Perhaps local thieves who had been watching. They smell not history. They smell opportunity. In the panicked darkness they go to the hole. They move the stones. When La Tourette returns the next day, the alarm was false. The Turkish ship was a shadow. The sun is hot. The air is still. He goes back to the hole. It is open. He looks down. The gold is gone. The jewels are gone. The sarcophagus is smashed open. Fragments of rich rotted cloth and a fine grey dust are scattered on the cold floor. They missed it. The world missed it. The heart of Mausolus and Artemisia was touched for a few frantic hours by thieves in the dark, and then was lost forever. And now the magic is broken. The treasure is gone. The knights are disappointed. The hill is just a quarry again, but their need is greater. They are building their great castle of St. Peter on the harbour, and they need more than stone. They need mortar, the cement to hold the stones together, and to make mortar you must have lime. And to make lime, you must burn marble. A new smell comes to the hill, a horrible smell. The acrid, choking, billowing smoke of lime kilns. They build great earthen ovens, and they stoke them with fire, and they need fuel for the fire. The final sacrilege begins. The sound. It is not a chisel. It is the brutal, dull thud of sledgehammers. The knights order the workmen to gather the fallen gods. They take the face of the Amazon that stared at the sky. They take the perfectly carved drapery of Timotheus. They take the anguished heroes of Scopas. They take the heads of the lions. They do not see art. They see calcium. They see fuel. Thud, thud, crack. They smash the statues into fist-sized chunks. They smash the genius of the four masters into rubble, and they throw this art, this grief, this history into the roaring fire, and we hear it. The sound of the marble dying, the sound of cold stone meeting fire, the hiss of 1800 years of art being unmade, being chemically destroyed, the hiss of Artemisia's love dissolving into a cloud of stinking smoke and white ash. This ash is lime. It is mixed with sand and water. It becomes mortar, and the knights take the last great blocks of the podium. They use them to build the great walls of their castle, and they use the ashes of the statues to hold the stones together. The tomb is now a fortress. The monument to love has become a weapon of war. The great name of Mausolus is now just mortar in the cracks of a castle wall. The sacrilege is complete. The long silence has triumphed. The hill is a green, goat-browsed mound. The great castle of St. Peter stands on the harbour, its walls filled with the ground-up ashes of gods and heroes. The lime kilns are cold, their smoke a forgotten, acrid memory. Centuries pass. 3 long centuries. The world turns. The age of knights and armour gives way to an age of books and steam. And in the 19th century, a new kind of pilgrim arrives. He does not carry a sword. He does not carry a cross. He carries a book. His name is Charles Thomas Newton. He is not a soldier. He is a librarian, a scholar, an antiquarian, and he has read Pliny. He has read the whispers of the Roman who saw the wonder. He believes the ghosts are still there. Imagine him arriving in Bodrum. The air is the same. It still smells of the sharp, salty sea and the dry herbal scent of wild thyme from the hills. But Newton is not distracted by the beauty. He is listening for a story. He looks at the harbour, and he looks at the castle. He sees what no one else has seen. He sees that the castle is not a castle. It is a jigsaw puzzle. It is a ransom note made from the pieces of a poem. He gets permission from the Sultan, a firman, a piece of crisp, important paper that smells faintly of ink and authority, and he begins to dig. He brings shovels and picks, and the sound of work returns to the hill. But it is a different sound. It is not the creative tap of the Greeks. It is not the destructive thud of the knights. It is the careful scrape, the patient shush of earth being sifted through a screen, the sound of a search. He digs in the foundations of the castle. He runs his fingers along the great stone blocks, and his fingers stop. He touches a line that should not be there. He brushes away the gritty, damp lime mortar that was made from the statues themselves, and beneath it he finds it, a piece of a frieze, the flank of a horse, the drapery of an Amazon so real it still seems to flow. The knights had used it as a common building block. They had walled it up. The ghost has spoken, and Newton follows the trail. He digs into the green hill itself, into the rubble-choked foundation. The air is cool and smells of damp earth and cut roots. His shovel hits something that is not rubble. It is colossal. It takes months. The sound is now the creak and groan of 19th century winches and pulleys, the shouts of the workmen in Turkish and English, and they rise. From the earth that held them for 400 years, they rise. They are not from the chariot. Those are dust. These are the honorifics, the colossal portraits that stood in the forest of columns. He calls them Mausolus and Artemisia. They are 10 feet tall. They are broken. They are stained with earth. His face is battered but regal. Her face is lost. But her body, her draped form, is so heavy, so full of a quiet dignity, it is a masterpiece of silent grief. The Carian sun touches them once more, and then they are crated. The sound of hammers on fresh pine, the strong resinous smell of sawdust, the rough scratch of burlap and straw packed around their cold marble skin. They are lifted, they swing in the air over the harbour they once presided over. They are loaded into the dark belly of a steamship, and for weeks their only world is the creak and groan of the ship's timbers, the cold smell of sea salt and tar, and the new, hot, metallic smell of a coal engine. They are shipped to London. They arrive in a new world, a world of fog. The air does not smell of time. It smells of damp and soot. The bitter smell of coal smoke hangs in the air. The sound is not the wind. It is the dull roar of 1,000,000 people. The clatter of iron-shod carriage wheels on wet cobblestones. They are brought to the British Museum, and for the first time in their 2,000-year existence they are brought indoors. The great doors close, the roar of London fades, and a new silence descends. It is not the silence of oblivion. It is the silence of a library. It is the hush of a cathedral. The air is cool and still. It never moves. There is no wind. The air smells faintly of floor polish, of beeswax, of old paper and ancient dust. The sound is the distant shuff, shuff, shuff of visitors' shoes on the polished stone floor, the faint echo of a cough, the tick-tock of a great clock in a distant hall, and the light. It is not the sun. It is not the warm, golden Carian light that they were built to catch. It is a cold, grey light, a pale northern light that filters down from a high glass ceiling. It touches their marble skin, but it gives them no warmth. They stand there. Mausolus, Artemisia, and with them the fragments of the frieze, the broken Amazons, the anguished heroes, pinned to the wall like captured butterflies. They are the ghosts. They are safe at last, safe from earthquakes, safe from lime kilns, safe from war. But they are exiles. They are sleeping indoors, far from their sun, far from their wind, far from the sea that whispered at the base of their hill. They are no longer a wonder. They are a memory. They are the last precious whispers of Artemisia's grief. now sleeping forever in the quiet heart of a museum. We have travelled a long way together. We have walked through the moonlight of the ancient world. We have stood in the dust of the workshops. We have climbed the stairway to the stars, and we have watched the fires of the lime kilns burn. Now, let us return to the present. Let us open our eyes, just for a moment, in the world of today. We are back in Bodrum. The air is still hot, but it is the heat of a modern summer. The streets outside are noisy with the sounds of scooters and tourists and the clinking of tea glasses in cafes. But here, in this quiet, sunken garden, the noise fades away. We are standing at the site. It is quiet here. It is a place of deep green shadows. We look down into the earth and we see a scar. It is a vast rectangular depression cut into the living bedrock. This is the footprint. This is the ghost of the foundation we saw being dug so many centuries ago. It feels empty. It feels like a negative space, a hollow where something massive once pushed down upon the world. The great marble mountain is gone. The forest of columns is gone. The stairway to the sky is gone. Instead, we see the wild things, we see the fig trees, their broad, rough leaves smelling sweet and milky in the heat. We see the oleander with its poisonous, beautiful pink flowers. We see the dry yellow grass growing between the few remaining blocks of grey stone. There are a few fragments left here, a broken drum of a column lying on its side like a fallen wheel, a piece of a step worn smooth by the rain. They are white, blindingly white against the dark earth. They are the few bones that the knights left behind, the few scraps that were too heavy or too broken to steal. You can walk down into the pit. You can put your hand on the bedrock. It is warm. It feels rough. This stone held up the weight of a wonder. It held up the grief of a queen. Now it holds only the roots of the trees and the song of the cicadas. But the tomb is not truly gone. It has not vanished into the ether. It has simply moved. Let us turn our backs on the quiet garden. Let us walk one last time down the winding streets, past the whitewashed houses with their blue shutters, down to the harbour. There it stands, the castle of St. Peter. It is proud. It is strong. Its walls are jagged and golden brown in the setting sun. It dominates the water, a fortress built to last forever. But look closer. Walk up to the walls. Look at the stones. Do you see them? Among the rough brown rocks of the medieval masons, there are flashes of something else. There are blocks of pure, pristine white marble. They are smooth. They are perfectly squared. They are polished. Look there above the gateway. That is not a fortress stone. That is a piece of the podium. Look there, high up on the rampart. That round stone embedded in the wall. That is the drum of a column. That is a piece of the forest. The mausoleum is not destroyed, it is cannibalized, it is hiding in plain sight. The atoms of Artemisia's grief are holding up the walls of the knights who forgot her name. The sentinels that guarded the tomb are now guarding the harbour. It is a strange, melancholy kind of immortality. The shape is lost, but the substance remains. The marble that was quarried in the cold mountain air, that was carved by the sweating hands of Scopas and Leochares, that was painted with crimson and gold, it is still here. It is still doing the work of standing against the sea. And now the sun begins to set. The golden light fades from the castle walls. The blue of the sky deepens to indigo. The first stars begin to appear. The same stars that look down on the chariot of the dawn. It is time for us to rest. We have seen the full circle. We have seen how a man named Mausolus dreamed of a city. We have seen how a woman named Artemisia turned her sorrow into a mountain of stone. We have seen how art can conquer gravity and how time can conquer art. It is a story of irony. The tomb was built to ensure that a single man would never be forgotten. It was built to be eternal, and in a way it succeeded. The building is gone, the body is dust, the treasure is stolen, but the word remains. Mausoleum. Every grand tomb in every city, in every language of the West, carries his name. He did not get his eternal house of stone. He got something more fragile and yet more durable. He became a word. He became a concept. He became the very definition of memory. The pragmatism of the nights, the fires of the lime kilns, the shaking of the earth, none of it could destroy the idea. The air cools, the crickets grow louder, the sea laps gently against the stone quay, a rhythmic, eternal shushing sound. Shush, slap, shush, slap. The library of whispers is closing now. The candles are burning low. The dust is settling. Artemisia and Mausolus are sleeping. The four masters are sleeping. The knights are sleeping. And the white stones in the castle wall are cooling in the night air, dreaming of the time when they were gods. Let the darkness cover the ruin. Let the ivy grow. Let the story settle into your mind like a soft, heavy blanket. And so we close the heavy marble cover. The story of the great tomb has come to an end. Can you hear that soft, dull sound as the book closes? Thud. The wonder has been remembered, and the book returns to its place. Now you can close your eyes. The story is over, and you are safe, wrapped in the warmth of the fireplace and the deep quiet of this old library. There is nothing left that you need to think about. No one needs anything from you. You can simply drift. I will place the tome back on its ancient shelf. It will wait here, just as I will, along with thousands of other stories, if you enjoy the peace of this place and you wish to return tomorrow night. Simply stay with us. You can subscribe, and I will always be here waiting for you, with a candle lit and a new story ready. But for now, it is time. Sleep. Sleep peacefully. The library is watching over your dreams. The fire is fading. It is quiet and warm. Good night, good night, good night.